and our project is to create a simple IQ test using CSS and PHP. The problem: develop a puzzle game to map the brain and determine some outcome using CSS and PHP fundamentals. The solution to this problem: we decided to create a test where players can answer some questions and receive their intelligence quotient, or IQ, in return. These are the site requirements for our website. Cookies must be implemented to ensure that the server can track user information and individual answer choices. There must be a leaderboard present to keep a tab of the top scorers of the test. Form processing using PHP to save users' IQ test answers, their informations, and their scores to the server for archiving and analytics. To create a more personalized and private experience, the website must utilize login and registration for every user. Logic must be used to create a more sophisticated and complex application on the back end. The design. Our design solution. The problem was, the last thing anyone wants to do is take a quiz that is overly complicated for no reason. For our solution to this problem, we kept the user interface of the quiz as simple as possible, yet complex in its design elements using CSS animations and styling. Our login page, we have some code for our login page with an array that stores like a couple of dummy logins. Logging in is achieved with the usage of PHP sessions. User submission is checked among registered users in an associative array. If the username and password are correct, or if they match any of the elements in this array, the user is transferred to the index.php, and the user is saved in session variable right here. Otherwise, the login is shown as invalid. Index.php. Through the use of a session variable, the user is remembered on the next web page. If the username is incorrect, the user can click the link to log out, which terminates the PHP session and redirects the user to the first page. So our session variable is basically the username, so username1. And here we have some code for index.php. The header. This is on the main page. The quiz header is designed using multiple div tags in the game.css file. I don't know if I can zoom in, but we have some code for the CSS file of the main page. Questions. In questions.html, a PHP form is used to take in user input, which will then be used to calculate the IQ score. Value equals 1 corresponds to a correct answer, and value equals 0 is an incorrect answer. Here we have our HTML file for questions.html. It's basically just a layout for what our test page would look like. This is how our score is determined for the IQ score test. An IQ score is determined through a random integer generator based on how many questions you answer correctly. For example, if you answer less than 6 correct, your IQ will be a number between 100 and 110, and this is saved to the variable IQ. As we can see here, if correct is less than 1, it would be between 50 and 60, less than 2, 60 and 70, less than 3, 70 and 80, and so on all the way to 130 and 140. And this value is then returned to the results page. Submission results and leaderboard. PHP cookies are used to create a leaderboard on how many times the game has been played. The cookie increments each time the page is visited. Here we have some code for the leaderboard page. So this would just be what was shown back here. So it says, thanks for playing, dear unknown challenger, because they haven't logged in, and then it would result. It would give you your IQ score, basically. Share or play again. This was a fun little attribute that we added to our results page. The user is given the option to share on social media or take the quiz again through the use of href tags. The link redirects the user back to question.html, while clicking on the social media icons takes you to their respective pages. And I'll show you in the demo, but if you hover over any of this, it will give you the link and you can just click on the icon. Testing. Content testing. One of the most significant requirements for modern day website development is that the content must be easily found, understood, and comprehended. Our website ensures that all the functionality provided is visible to the naked eye and just a click away. To test this, we manually went through every single page and tested every button, page, and attribute of the entire website to see if it was functional. The next slide showcases some of the highlights of our IQ test webpage. So we have the main page, the questions page. So we have a clean user interface with appealing CSS styling and animations. So this uses that game.css file and borrows attributes from that to style this question.html page. This right here is animated. I can't really show it right now, but I'll show it in the demo. We also have this music that you can click on to play. And this is just a portion of the main page. There's like about 9 questions. Easy to view and click radio buttons for answer choices, so the user has no trouble completing the test. Clear and consistent spacing between the leaderboard, results, social media sharing, and logo on the results page. Login functionality. To test the login functionality that we had implemented using PHP sessions, we uploaded all of our project files to the COD server and logged in using 3 stored credentials saved. So I attempted to log in with all 3 of these credentials, and they all seem to work. For example, over here, if you put in something else, it would say incorrect credentials or incorrect input. Invalid login details, sorry. As can be seen in the images, the program successfully reads the inputted credentials and greets the user by their specific username in the next page. In the image below, we can see the purple underlined click here link, which allows the user to log out of the session. And to test for bugs, we tried refreshing the page and returning to the previous page, but the program would not allow us to go back, and I will show you that in the demonstration as well. Browser testing. All web pages were loaded into Chrome, Safari, and Firefox browsers to check that everything was in working order. That is it for the presentation. So this is our login page for the IQ test. So I'm just going to use what I have saved for username 1. So this brings you to the index.php file where it greets you by username 1. You have logged into our questions page. Are you ready? Not you. Click this link to log out. Click here to log out. So you can click on that and it will take you back to logout.php. So we're going to try to play this game. So I'm going to click on this click me button over here. So as you can see, we have the CSS animation over here. This is the header. We have some text that greets the user. I can't really play the music right now. It's not going to be inputted through this recording, but it is playing at the moment. So yeah, so these are the 8 questions that we have. Yeah, you can enter anything in here. And based on how many correct answers you get, the IQ score will be returned in the next page. We have a nice little submit button. And this takes you to the question.php page. So it gives you your IQ score. The score is over here in the leaderboard. The different social media links. If you look in the left-hand corner, you can see the different links that show up for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit. You can take the quiz again, and here's a little logo we put in. Take it again. Put some dummy variables as well. 107. So the IQ is actually calculating correctly. We also created a page to see how many times like a user would visit the page. So if I go to so this would just, I've visited the page 18 times. So every time I visit this page, it would return visit number again, bro, 18. And it just keeps refreshing. So it's a nice way to calculate how many times the player has visited the quiz page. And that is all for our presentation. Thank you. We're Team 8.